Hello and welcome to Charity's Treasures. Today is Music Monday. Did God save you? Should you be involved in saving others? Charlie picked Amazing Grace for April's Music Monday. Would you like to know why? Why is it important for Charlie to have you understand why? Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I think it was the 22nd, I mentioned that we were going to sing Amazing Grace for the month of April. And I will just read the first verse to that this week. It says, "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see." Okay, so the Sunday I decided that I was going to have this song for the month of April. I was sitting in church. We were singing another song too that day, "I Will Walk with Jesus," which was the song for March. And then we sang Amazing Grace. As I was sitting there singing Amazing Grace, I felt Charlie beside me. He told me that this is the song we need to use for April. I explained in the episode that he said people will be able to relate to it, and that's why we should use it. Shout out to the music director, Debbie Schultz, who had us sing this song in church. I think she was inspired that day so that I would know that this was the song that I was supposed to sing, and that I would be able to sing it with Charlie in church. So that was kind of fun. Amazing Grace, to me, represents that throughout our life, we are consistently being changed and given God's grace. Usually that gradual change comes from specific turning points in our lives. As you think about the verse of this song that we will be singing, the verses to this song that we will be singing each week, think about turning points in your life. I asked Charlie, "Why do you want this song to be sung?" He said, "I would like you, Charity, to share turning points in your life with the people you talk to on your podcast. I would also like you to invite other podcasters to share turning points in their life all month. I would also like, in keeping with the theme for this month about Tucker and me and our conversation, which includes Adam and Eve and marriage, for you to invite podcasters to share their spouses' turning points. If it is a man podcaster, invite them to share their wives' turning points also. It does not have to be a religious turning point necessarily, just a turning point that helped them develop a path that would lead them to God and their purpose. When men and women share their experiences with their audience, especially married men and women, they may have the opportunity to change someone's life. Their unique experience may help others decide to take a turning point in their life that will lead them closer to Christ in the future. If it is a path that will lead to goodness, then that is a turning point. Many people may not recognize a turning point in their life until they hear someone else share their turning point experience. They may say, "Oh, I guess there was a turning point in my life, and maybe I should take that turning point more seriously." You can ask them these questions, Charity. Turning points in my life. How does my turning point relate to Charlie Kirk? Does my turning point have anything to do with Charlie? Does my turning point lead me to my purpose on the earth? And what is that purpose if it does? How can I fulfill that purpose? How is that purpose leading me to Christ? How can my purpose help others? How can my purpose bring about peace? How can my purpose include all people, even those we deem as our enemy? As people think about their turning point and the wretched things they have done in their life, remind them that God gave them grace and saved them. And if they have the opportunity to do that for others, even though they think that there are people that cannot be saved because of their choices, remind them that God saved them and that He continues to save them. Remind them of the commandment to love our neighbor. That is Charlie's message. I feel the need to share a turning point in my life today, and I will each week until the month is over. I will do this every Monday. My turning point. The turning point I am sharing comes from when I was 5 years old. You might ask, how can you have a turning point at 5 years old? I think there's many young people that go through circumstances in their lives at a young age, and maybe they don't realize that they have a turning point even when they are 5 years old. What happened when I was 5 years old? I currently live in Butte, Montana. My dad and mom's entire family pretty much live here. When I was 2 years old, my parents decided to move to Whitehall, Montana. Whitehall, Montana is about 25 miles away from Butte, Montana. My parents still wanted to be close to family, but they wanted to start a life on their own. Even though we lived in Whitehall, we were always in Butte. It was like I had two homes. Butte is quite a bit bigger than Whitehall. Whitehall maybe has like 2,000 people in it. So it's a smaller town. All my family now live in Butte, Montana, because we all moved back after my siblings and I graduated from high school. And my parents moved back too. When we moved to Whitehall, my mom met someone at church. My mom and this woman soon became best friends. I would always go to this woman's house because she had a son that was my age and we would play together. Since I was 2 years old, her son and I have always been friends. When we were in kindergarten, I had a girlfriend. We were best friends. She was very popular. We literally had like 12 people in our class. But she was the most popular girl in our class, and everybody wanted to be her friend, but she chose me to be her friend. I think it was about halfway through the year, she got upset with me and decided not to be my best friend anymore. She not only decided not to be my best friend, she was so upset with me, which I don't remember why she was upset with me, but she decided that it wasn't enough not to be my best friend. She was going to get all of the other students in class to not talk to me and not like me. She accomplished her goal. For an entire week, no one would talk to me in class or play with me at recess, except one boy. The boy that I had known since I was 2 years old. A whole whopping 3 years of my life so far. Why was this a turning point in my life? This boy, who probably doesn't even remember this instance, and I never did bring it up to him later in life, he hung out with me the entire week that this girl was mad at me, and everybody else stopped talking to me. The girl ended up being my friend again after a week. Now, when I was 5 years old, I didn't know what romance was. So when I thought of this boy, I was just thinking that he was kind and loving towards me. And it made me happy and helped me not feel alone that entire week when it seemed like everybody hated me. This memorable experience never left my mind. This experience, I believe, propelled me to thoughts of fairy tales and storytelling. As I grew up and I continued to look back on this experience, I realized over time that this was imprinted on my personality. I am a storyteller, and I believe that this experience developed that storytelling talent inside of me. A young boy and a young girl. This boy saves the young girl. As I grew up, the thought of romance and fairy tales became more prevalent to my mind because you think of those things as you get older. And I always thought of this experience, romance and being a character in a fairy tale. I, at a young age, after this experience, began to write poems. I didn't write too many stories, but I wrote a lot of poems. I have a book of poems I wrote growing up. I also wrote songs, not with melody because I did not play a musical instrument, but I imagined in my head what those sounds might have sounded like. This boy and I were friends throughout school, throughout grade school, junior high, high school, and even after high school. This experience shaped me. It shaped my personality. It shaped my talents. One simple boy and his kindness and love became a turning point in my life. Many times, people, because they are young, might not think of these experiences as turning points. Maybe you think you're too young to have a turning point like that shaped you and your personality and your life. I invite you to look back on your life and recognize those turning points. If you didn't realize they were turning points, turn them into turning points and see how they can shape your life today. Why is this concept important to Charlie? Why does he want you to share your turning points? We will be talking about that all month, but right now I would just say it's important to him because people are important to him. People are important in our lives. He wants us to recognize people. He wants us to be kind to people. He wants us to take on the character of Christ. As he is on the other side, he understands Christ's character even more so than we do. This is very important to him. It is also important in solving his case. You may not understand the importance of it right now and thinking, oh, that's something weird and simple. But as we go throughout the year and talk about these things that are important to him, you will understand. I want you to think about it as if he is here saying these things to you, because that's kind of the only way he can say them. He also wants those that follow his advice to be successful. His hope is that as you are obedient, blessings, even financial blessings, will be bestowed upon you. There is a reason for this desire, which we will discuss later. We will go into more detail why he wants this to be the case. So I invite podcasters to share their turning points throughout the month, and I invite you to share your spouse's turning points throughout the month. I invite people to share their turning points with their friends and family. Sharing these experiences may shape your future. Like I said before, I am a storyteller. I am telling a story this year. Charlie is involved in that story, and he adds a beautiful aspect to the story. He is so interesting. His thoughts and feelings are interesting. He is very smart, and he's very close to the Spirit. Charlie says, in this process, you will see the places that you are currently blinded in, and you will help others see where they are blinded. In this process, you will be found, and as you help others see, they will also be found. He says, Charity, won't that be a beautiful sound? Yes, Charlie, it will be. That is all for today, and I will finish by singing the song. You are lucky today because it is has a short verse to this song. So anyways, and I didn't really talk too much. I'm only in it about 11 minutes so far. And I wasn't too excited. Very calm today. Yesterday I was not very calm, but I am calm today. Okay, Amazing Grace. Let's see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Bye, everybody.